Tyson Fury versus Joey Abell. Now, on paper, this should be an easy win for Tyson Fury. Joey Abell has a borderline journeyman record. Every time he stepped up above journeyman level opposition, he's been found out. He was stopped by Kubrat Pulev. He was knocked out in one round by Chris Arreola. I've seen both those fights. He's had several other fights earlier in his career where he was also stopped. So on paper, you would think Tyson Fury should be able to take care of this guy. But the thing is, there's been some unfortunate circumstances for Tyson Fury leading up to this fight. We all know David Haye messed him around for a year, the best part of a year, and that affected Tyson Fury psychologically. At one point, he said he'd retired from boxing because of that David Haye saga. It really upset him. And he actually piled on a whole heap of weight after the cancellation of the second David Haye fight. I mean, he went up to, according to his trainer and uncle Peter Fury, he went up to 22 stone. He was 22 stone when he came into camp. 22 stone, now don't quote me on this, just off the top of my head, is probably around 280, 290 pounds. Right? 22 stone is very big. And Tyson Fury's ideal fighting weight is under 250 pounds. So we know that he wasn't in a great place mentally after the two cancelled Haye fights. He piled on a hell of a lot of weight. And according to his trainer, Peter Fury, coming into this fight, he's going to be overweight. He's not going to be under 250. Peter Fury, I think, said he's going to be about 19 and a half stone, which is about, again, don't quote me, but 19 and a half stone, I think, is around 260 something, between 260, 270 pounds. All right, so he's going to be way over his normal fighting weight. So he's going to be slower than normal. He's probably going to be less sharp than normal. And we've seen Tyson Fury have trouble with fairly poor quality opposition when he's not in shape. We've seen that happen many times in the past. People like Nevin Pikage, John McDermott, and several other guys, when Tyson Fury wasn't in shape or wasn't focused, we've seen him have trouble. Okay? So there's the potential there, because he's not in shape, that he won't be as sharp as he needs to be. All right? Another problem going into this fight is Tyson Fury, apparently just a week ago or this week, apparently, Tyson Fury's car and his house was torched by arsonists. Right? This is while Tyson Fury was out in Belgium training. Now, we already know that he's coming into camp and he's coming into the fight, you know, carrying too much weight. We know that mentally he's not been in a great place since the two David Haye cancellations. And now now his car and his home have been attacked by arsonists. You know, obviously someone who has a grudge against him. So how is that going to affect Tyson Fury? We know from previous experience that Tyson Fury can be mentally erratic. The guy can go off the rails mentally, you know, fairly easily, right? He is mentally erratic. He needs his Uncle Peter there to keep him on rails. We saw what happened before the during the Steve Cunningham fight. And the thing about it is, and I'll probably go into that Steve Cunningham situation in another video, because there is some interesting things which I've raised before about that Steve Cunningham fight. But before the Steve Cunningham fight, and I'm not lying, you can go check, just go search for the video on my channel. Before the Steve Cunningham fight, I made a video about the fight saying that I was concerned that there were danger signs going into that fight. It was supposed to be a routine fight for Tyson Fury. Cunningham was supposed to be a little cruiserweight with no power, wasn't supposed to give Tyson Fury any problems. But I made a video. In fact, I'll put an annotation link on screen right now. If you don't believe me, go click the link or watch the video. I said, you know what? I think I got a funny feeling that Tyson Fury is going to have a seriously tough fight against Steve Cunningham. There could be a potential upset on the cards. I said that before the fight, and look what happened in the fight. And the reason why I said it is because the circumstances around Tyson Fury going into the fight were not good. His Uncle Peter wasn't with him. He was in America for the first time in front of a rowdy audience and all that kind of stuff. And it just didn't feel right to me. It felt like something could go wrong because of Tyson Fury is so mentally erratic. He's very hot-headed, and he gets dragged into a dogfight very easily if he doesn't have someone there to guide him and, you know, pull the reins in a little bit. Tyson Fury has sometimes got too much aggression for his own good, and he needs someone to pull him in, to rein him in a bit. And I saw a potential banana skin in the Steve Cunningham fight. And in this fight, it's a similar kind of situation, although on paper, at least, Joey Abell is certainly not as talented as Steve Cunningham, right? He hasn't competed he hasn't had any type of success at the level that Cunningham's had, even in the heavyweight division, because Cunningham obviously mostly has been fighting as a cruiserweight. That's where most of his success was. But even as a heavyweight, Cunningham's had better success than Joey Abell, right? So bear that in mind, especially the Adamek fight. But anyway, Tyson Fury should beat Joey Abell because of the reasons I'm going to go into in a second. Joey Abell certainly has a lot of weaknesses himself. But one thing about Joey Abell is that he can punch. The guy can punch. I've seen the guy training. I've looked at his record. I've seen some of his fights. This guy can punch. I'm telling you right now. I've seen the fights that he's lost. I've also seen the fights that he's won. The guy can punch. I believe he's got 29 wins and 28 knockouts. And yes, it's been over a low level of opposition. But if you look at most of the heavyweights in the top 10, at some stage in their career, they've fought low-level opposition as well, and they haven't been knocking all of them out in one round. Joey Abell's got a hell of a lot of first-round knockouts. The guy can punch. I've seen him on the pads, actually, in the lead-up to this fight. The guy can punch. I'm telling you right now. He's a southpaw as well. Again, Tyson Fury hasn't been training for a southpaw. You know, Joey Abell is probably the biggest puncher that Tyson Fury's faced so far in his career. Yeah, he's probably the biggest puncher Tyson Fury's faced. And if he catches Tyson Fury clean, especially in the condition that Tyson Fury's in at the moment, Tyson Fury's going down. Tyson Fury is going down if Joey Abell catches him with a clean, flush punch, full power. Tyson Fury's going down. I'm telling you right now. But let's move on to the problems with Joey Abell. As I say, Tyson Fury not in an ideal situation coming into this fight, with a lot of outside the ring distractions, not in great condition, etc., etc. And he's taking on a southpaw. And by the way, Tyson Fury is supposed to be 6'9", but when I saw him next to David Haye, and when I saw him at the press conference next to Joey Abell, he certainly did not look 5 inches taller than Joey Abell, who's supposed to be 6'4". Nowhere near 5 inches taller. So I don't know whether Tyson Fury is really 6'9" or not, because this is the second time now I've seen him next to an opponent who he's supposed to be massively taller than, and he doesn't look that much bigger. That's something that Steve Cunningham actually said. When Steve Cunningham was face-to-face with Tyson Fury, he was questioning whether Tyson Fury was really 6'9". He said, I don't believe he's actually as tall as he says he is. But who knows? That's really a side issue. But when I saw these guys face-to-face, Abell and Tyson Fury, there didn't look that much difference in height, you know. I'm telling you, Abell seemed tall enough to be able to, you know, land on Fury without too much problem if he has the kind of footwork and stuff like that to get into position. And that's what I'm going to get into. Now, Joey Abell can punch. He's also got pretty quick hands because he's got short arms for a big, tall guy. He's 6'4", but I believe his reach is only about 76 inches. I'm not sure what his arm length is, but he certainly has pretty short arms for a guy of his size, a guy of his height. And because of that, he can move those arms quicker than most heavyweights of his height because his arms are shorter, so he can move them quicker. Especially if you've seen him on the pads, the guy's pretty sharp, man. He's pretty sharp. But the problems with Joey Abell, and there are numerous problems. Even though the guy can punch, the guy has pretty decent technique, fast hands. The problems with Joey Abell, number one, he's been stopped, I believe, 5 times. And I saw some of the fights where he got stopped. I saw the Kubrat Pulev fight. I saw the Chris Arreola fight. And in those fights where I saw him get stopped, it didn't look like Joey Abell was that badly hurt. I mean, I don't know what a fighter's feeling when he gets hit. You know, you can never know what a fighter's feeling unless you're the one taking the punches. You never know how he's feeling inside, whether he's that badly hurt or not. But he certainly didn't appear to be that badly hurt in either of those fights, especially the Kubrat Pulev. I mean, no, he was somewhat hurt in the Chris Arreola fight, I'm not going to lie. But in the Pulev fight, certainly, which was his most recent stoppage defeat, he didn't seem hurt in that fight. It almost looked like he quit in the Kubrat Pulev fight. And that's a red flag right there. Does he really have the mental fortitude, the heart to go in there and bang it out with a guy like Tyson Fury? And one thing we know Tyson Fury has is heart. He's passed many gut checks in his career. Many, many gut checks. Tyson Fury's got bags of heart. And if it comes down to a dogfight and it's all about who's got more heart, then Tyson Fury is going to win every time. But, you know, Joey Abell does carry that punch. But yeah, I question Joey Abell's heart, possibly question his punch resistance. All right. Also, another thing I noticed from the Kubrat Pulev fight is that Joey Abell struggles with his balance against the moving target. Kubrat Pulev was moving in and out of range in that fight. He was, you know, using his jab, keeping Joey Abell on the end of long punches and moving in and out of range. And Joey Abell wasn't able to adjust his balance to be able to cut down the distance and deliver punches and remain on balance and deliver punches with accuracy. He wasn't able to do it. He was missing a lot in the Kubrat Pulev fight. Pulev's movement totally threw off Joey Abell's balance. He couldn't handle it. So Abell is probably one of those guys who can punch very hard against a stationary target. But when you give him some movement, you can take his power away or at least reduce it significantly. So that's another thing I noticed about Joey Abell. The guy don't like movement. And Tyson Fury, when he's in condition, he can move very, very well. And we know Tyson Fury is going to have a huge reach advantage over Joey Abell. And I assume, you know, his trainer, Peter Fury, is going to tell Tyson to keep him on the end of a long jab. Tyson Fury might even opt to box southpaw. He's done that before. Who knows what he's going to do. But if he keeps Joey Abell on the end of his punches, he should be able to win the fight. Okay, even an out of shape Tyson Fury should be able to win the fight fairly comfortably. Maybe make Joey Abell quit, as long as he keeps him on the end of his punches, because I don't really see Joey Abell as the most mentally tough guy. As I say, as far as I saw, he pretty much quit against Kubrat Pulev. He wasn't really taking a terrible beating. He went down and he decided to stay there. All right. From what I remember, I believe he waited the count out, or maybe the referee waved it off. I can't remember, but I was definitely left with the impression that Joey Abell could have made more of an effort to continue, but his heart really wasn't in it. Now, I've seen interviews with Joey Abell this week, and he talked about those losses, and he said his head wasn't in the right place. Certainly going into the Chris Arreola fight, he said his head wasn't in the right place, and in one interview in particular, he also alluded to the fact, or the claim, that his head also wasn't in the right place against Kubrat Pulev, and he took the fight, I believe, on 3 days' notice with hardly any training. And he said his baby daughter was born. It was either the Arreola fight or the Pulev fight. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been the Arreola fight where his baby daughter was born a couple of days before. So he said his head wasn't in the right place. And for some of his other losses, he says he wasn't in great shape. He took fights at short notice. These are all factors you have to take into account. It's possible these things are true. But coming into this fight against Tyson Fury is taking it on short notice as well. So, and the fighters are always going to tell you they're in great shape before a fight, or they're in good enough shape before a fight. That's just how it goes. Even when they're not, they're going to tell you, oh, I'm in great shape, because they don't want to give their opponent a psychological edge and think he's not in shape. So you very rarely see a fighter before a fight telling you that he's not in great shape, even when he isn't. So these are things to take into account. On paper and in reality, Tyson Fury should be able to deal with Joey Abell fairly comfortably. But like I say, this Abell guy can punch. So if Tyson Fury is lacking in discipline in any way, if he tries to bang it out with this guy, he puts himself at serious risk, because, as I said, this guy may be the hardest puncher Tyson Fury's faced in his career so far. So, you know, take nothing for granted, Tyson Fury. He's been on the canvas before from people like Nevin Pikage. He's been hurt by people like Nikolai Furfa, Steve Cunningham. Joey Abell can punch harder than those guys, trust me. So Tyson Fury going to need to be careful. I know he's got a lot of outside the ring distractions. He's not in the best condition. I don't know where he's at mentally, but he needs to hold it together and get past this fight if he wants to do anything in the heavyweight division. So yeah, just a word of caution, and for you know, any gambling man, check the odds on Joey Abell, man, because massive odds. You could put a very small amount of money down, and if you lose, you lose. It's not a big deal. But if you win, hey, you know, you put £2 or two or £3 down, or $2 or $3, and if the odds are 16 to 1 or bigger, yeah, it's still a nice little bit of money you made there. So, you know what I mean? You might want to look at that. Anyway, this video's gone on longer than I wanted it to, but I had to get all this information out. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel. How do you feel Tyson Fury's weight might affect him in this fight? Have you seen any of the training footage of Joey Abell? How did you What do you think about the assessment I made of both of these two fighters? Is there anything I've missed out? Anything I haven't taken into account? There probably is, because I always think of so much stuff to say before I make these videos, and I always end up leaving stuff out. So yeah, drop your comments below and let me know how you feel. This is Hatman, I'm out.